Hello everybody. In this lesson, I will discuss typical questions that you can expect in the exam on the geometry of straight lines. I will discuss 8 examples. Now before we start with the exam type questions, let's look at our maths toolbox and what's living inside. We have some theorems. The first one is the angles on a straight line are supplementary. Angles in a revolution add up to 360 degrees. Vertically opposite angles are equal. And then your 3 new theorems, all about parallel lines. The first one, alternate angles equal. Corresponding angles equal. And co-interior angles supplementary. So now you have everything that you need in order to answer the questions. Question 1. Calculate the value of every unknown angle and give reasons for all statements. Now first of all, there's your little toolbox with your 6 reasons inside. Now we go to the sketch and then you decide what is going on there. There are no straight lines, there are no parallel lines. The only thing that you do have is this angles around a point. And then there's one theorem, and your theorem is angles in a revolution is equal to 360 degrees. So therefore, you can start by saying x plus 133 degrees plus 92 is 360 degrees. So that's your statement. And then your reason from your toolbox, angles in a revolution. And then we solve x. So then we will add 133 plus 92 is 225. And then we solve x. And we end with 360 minus 225. X is equal to 135. Question 2. Calculate the value of every unknown angle. Give reasons for all statements. So when you go to your sketch now, you will see that there's a straight line and there's 3 adjacent angles on your straight line. So the only reason you have is angles on a straight line supplementary. In other words, they add up to 180 degrees. So our statement will be 2x plus 60 plus x is equal to 180 degrees, and the reason, angles on a straight line. And then we solve x. So now we will say 2x plus x is 3x. Let the 60 walk across. 180 minus 60 degrees is 120. And let's solve x. Let's get rid of the 3. Divide both sides by 3. Therefore, x is equal to 40 degrees. Question 3. Calculate the value of every unknown angle. Give reasons for all statements. Now, when you go to your sketch, suddenly you find there's 2 parallel lines and there is also here at C a straight line with 3 adjacent angles on a straight line. So now let's start with C. You don't have to start with A. You can start anywhere. And the obvious thing is to start with C, since there's a straight line and 3 adjacent angles on your line. Then you can start by saying 58 plus 42 degrees plus C is equal to 180 degrees. And then you have to add a reason for your statement, and your reason is angles on a straight line. And now we can solve C. 58 plus 42 is 100. Plus C, let's solve C. 180 minus 100, C is 80 degrees. And then my advice to you is the minute you have some unknowns value, then you add it on your sketch. Now we can move over to A. And can you see that A is also 80. And what is happening there? This is A, this is C. There's your parallel lines. Can you see that they form corresponding angles equal? And then your last angle will be angle B. And you can find B, and it's 42 degrees. And your reason is, since you have those two parallel lines, they form alternate angles equal. Question 4. Calculate the value of every unknown angle. Give reasons for all statements. Now let's see what's happening. Can you see that there's two straight lines and they intersect each other, and then there's this other line over there. Now, first of all, let's go to A. Do you agree there's 98 degrees and there's A? Can you see that those two angles are vertically opposite angles? And our statement says that vertically opposite angles are equal. So therefore, A's value is also 98 degrees. And then when we move over to B, B is one of the adjacent angles on that straight line. And then we can say that 98 degrees plus B plus 34 is equal to 180, and the reason, angles on a straight line. And then we add 98 plus 34 is 132, and then we will solve B. So 132 will walk across, and we end with B is equal to 48 degrees. Question 5. Calculate the value of every unknown angle and give reasons for all statements. Now on your sketch you will find that line AC is parallel to line DF, but there's also line BD that is parallel to line CE. Now let's see. Let's start with X. Do you agree that X is 46 degrees? And the reason for that is that they form corresponding angles. And remember, corresponding angles are equal. And now that the parallel lines are labeled, you have to add which two lines are parallel. And they are BD parallel to CE. So once you know the size of an angle, you fill it in on your sketch. Then let's move over to the other angles. Let's start with angle Y. Now what is happening there? Can you see that angle Y plus the 46 is equal to 180 degrees? They are co-interior angles, supplementary, and your parallel lines are AC parallel to DF. And then we can solve Y. So the 46 will walk across. 180 minus 46 is 134 degrees. Once we know the size, we fill it in on our sketch. And then we can move over to Z. Now Z's size is 46 degrees. And how did I know that? There's actually many reasons there. You can either do angles on a straight line, or I said Z is 46 degrees since it forms alternate angles equal with the angle there at D. And remember, when you use that reason, you have to add AC parallel to DF. Question 6. Calculate the value of every unknown angle. Give reasons for all statements. Now when you go to your sketch, there's something that's really important here. It's this little symbol over there. Remember, I said that means something, and it means that the two lines are perpendicular. In other words, you find a right angle there, a 90-degree angle. That's the first thing. So now there's a straight line. So we can start by working out B's size. Do you agree there's B? And B is one of the adjacent angles on the straight line. Therefore, we can say 90 degrees plus 33 plus B is equal to 180 degrees, and your reason, angles on a straight line. 90 plus 33 is 123, and now let's solve B. 180 minus 123, B is 57 degrees, and it flies in. And then your last little angle that you find there is this angle here at A, and we will find that one by using the theorem of a revolution. Angles in a revolution are they add up to 360 degrees. So we say 90 plus 33 plus 57 plus 128 plus A. So it's all of them add up to 360 degrees, and the reason, angles in a revolution. Now we add everything on the left hand side, and that adds up to 308. And let's solve A. 360 minus 308, A is 52 degrees. Question 7. Calculate the value of every unknown angle. Give reasons for all statements. So on your sketch, you will see there's KL parallel to MN. And then there's on this side, there's x plus 15 degrees and y. So I will start by saying that y is equal to 126 degrees. And can you see they form corresponding angles equal? And you have to add, since your parallel lines are labeled, that KL is parallel to MN. So now that we know that y is 126 degrees, we can move over to x. And do you agree those two angles, they are adjacent angles on a straight line? So we can start by saying x plus 15 plus y, which is 126, is equal to 180, and our reason, angles on a straight line. And then we solve x. 15 plus 126 is 141. It walks across. X is 180 minus 141. X is 39 degrees. Now let's look at question 8. The question says, is KL parallel to MN? Motivate your answer. So can you see the whole time it was given that the lines are parallel. Now this is the exact opposite. Later on we'll call this the converse, but for now it's just when will those two lines be parallel? If this angle and that angle, can you see they are the corresponding angles? So if they were equal, then your lines would be parallel. But now they're not equal. So the answer here is no. The lines are not parallel. And the reason? The corresponding angles are not equal. If they were equal, then yes, the lines would be parallel. Thank you for watching my videos. Remember, I have prepared the whole syllabus for you. This is Miss Pythagoras signing off. Till next time.